next month. It does have a 2-year renewal. What is that contract price if it is? Corey has reached out to Darren to check on that. There was something I was a little bit unclear on, but DOT, some discussions about what some repair areas on 321, and Corey will follow up with that. But if you could, I really was not clear on where that was, but Corey's aware of it. No,
Corey knows where it's at.
okay. Discussions about speeding, speed reduction, and options for replacing speed humps, or putting some speed humps in some other locations. Parks and Rec Christmas lighting, what came up out of that was to increase the wreath size, and that cost increase was about $4,000. Parks and Rec needs that was mentioned, Devant Field and Annie Cannon restrooms. IT, Wi-Fi expansion needs electrical to make it complete. Talk about cybersecurity. Also related employee training with cybersecurity. Town website upgrade. Planning. Discussion about historic properties designation, and then a presentation to a joint meeting of Town Council, Planning Board, and Downtown Subcommittee. The other big action item was after adopting the comprehensive plan, which will be at the council meeting, the downtown land use code amendments would be the most pressing issue that we have. Public Works, look at the cemetery and provide some options for expansion in section 8 up there, the last section that we have. I think it was discussed that we have 31 vacant lots, I believe.
Yeah.
Other action items, Memorial Park Phase 2, he asked us to gather financing options for both the 1.8 million and the 2.1 million projects and alternates, and bring that information back to you. RFP maintenance on the water tanks, bids will be reviewed at the February council meeting. Sidewalk master plan, move forward with a, we're not gonna plant tomatoes beside the sidewalks, but we're gonna do a master plan and move forward with that, but first determine what the cost of generating a plan like that is, so you'll know that going into the budget season. Water sewer replacements, Matt and McGill will develop a prioritized plan for sewer expansion. Bayview Lake Spillway, McGill to provide some guidance and pricing on addressing that need down within the structure of the spillway. Stormwater utility, McGill and staff bring back a complete proposal and timing if we were to institute that. Paid parking, initiate a process for a target to install beginning November 1st this year for hardware, software, and all the elements that would be associated with that. And then paid parking to begin April 1st if all that it lines up, and the police department is the lead on this endeavor. So we will be bringing you more information on action that council needs to take, especially through the budget, to allocate funds for this proposal. Future parking facilities, McGill and staff to assist and develop scenarios and costs. Town space needs. The best way to do this would be a comprehensive assessment of all town facilities, space, staffing needs for the future, and identify options. Also determine the cost of providing this assessment before moving forward. Street right-of-way management, bringing specifics back to council on timing, on how this would work, what the town code says, and how we would best do that. And involve property owners on the front end, and that the priority was safety of our streets, traveling on our streets. It's crept in over the years, and it's something that we're going to have to address. So if I've missed something, please let me know. Just point it out, get to it.
So the PD
the parking, the speeding humps. Where is it at?
It was in the first day.
It was on the first, there you go.
So what I'm reading there is that this is something that we're going to do? Is that what I'm supposed to take away from this? Because I left that conversation that we have in some cases, we have perceived speeding problems. But the data doesn't support that.
And we were talking about doing those radar speed limit things that might help us get more data.
Okay, so use that first to determine if we have a problem.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, here's the criteria
Okay.
I thought that's what Nathan
that a
said he was
particular
going
street
to
would have to meet
Nathan
installed any
said
time.
that they would do that. But we
Nathan-
also have, history on one of the streets, which is,
Green Hill.
Green Hill Road and Ransom.
I just know it's come up before council before that, you know, well, we need speed bumps, put it on this road, this road. What I was saying is that we need to have a process to evaluate that
Yes.
by getting data, having
Right.
officers go up there, traffic enforcement. Once we go through these steps, then we can look at speed bumps, the temporary speed bumps and stuff like that.
Correct.
Just moving forward,
Which
just have a
one-
process in
Which
place.
ones do we have this history on now?
We have data on Ransom, Green Hill, 321, Clark Street, 221. But I'd like to get new data. I mean, of course.
That's all I was, that we're not
Things that we wrote down.
going to be replacing these willy-nilly based on
Yeah.
perception.
Yeah.
Right.
I wanted to have proven data. This is the issue. This is a problem. And that's going through these steps, collecting the data with the radar signs, doing traffic enforcement, having an officer sit out there, run a speed study themselves
Okay.
with radar.
You all need to give him a timeline. When would you like for him to come back to council with this report?
To me, that's up
No.
to Nathan, especially after his presentation that he's short-staffed, so.
Okay.
That problem's only getting worse, Aaron.
And I think it's a seasonal thing too.
It is. It varies. You know, summertime, you got more traffic on every road in town. And then when school gets back in, you might see a pickup on Ransom Street. It all depends. So, and I can look back at the data that we already have and put something together for the seasons and then moving forward when the complaint comes in.
All right, so you let us know, let Kevin know, when you're ready to throw it back at council.
Nathan,
That
can
good?
Well,
you,
so right now, school's in session. And then maybe, June and July would give us enough random data for the seasonal.
Yeah.
And maybe we could say, by the 1st of August, we'll have enough data that we can
Yeah.
look at it and make a decision.
And I can put something together for 321 now because that's our permanent radar sign. So
Right.
we can look at that
Are
seasonally.
you gonna put this, Kevin, to paper during lunch and have it for us afterwards? Yeah, he's gonna copy it for all of us.
This, yes.
can you put a write-up of
One more.
the procedures you're going to use to analyze these? So
Yes.
when we have someone come to council and say, we have a speeding issue, we can say,
Yeah.
we're turning over to the police department, this is the procedure they're following.
Absolutely.
Thank
I'll have a
you.
form for them. Times that they're, I know Mr. Parsons, he says at 6 o'clock, they're coming by his house 60 miles an hour.
You've been there.
I've been there and usually, and Mr. Parsons is good about this, usually every time he makes a complaint, he lets me sit in his driveway and I'll run radar right in his driveway because that's really the section that you can do it safely. And we put radar signs in his driveway right across the road. So we've even done license check stations in his driveway. But he has one section of his house. I mean, he's the biggest complaint, so we're gonna do it right there. But just time frames of when this speeding is a problem, and then we can go and, direct enforcement based off of their recommendation.
Kevin,
Thank you.
Thank you, Nate.
Thanks, Nate.
Thank you.
So water sewer replacements is separate from sewer expansion,
Yes.
Yes.
even though we've got them on
Yeah.
one line here.
Yeah, I didn't see new expansions up there.
But we've got replacements, then it says
And the
sewer
priority,
expansion, so that,
Right.
yeah.
For some reason, I want to change it, not able to change it at the moment.
I just want to make sure those are two different. That's all I had.
All good with that? Take a break for lunch? Okay. We are breaking for lunch. We'll reconvene at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
session.
Bigger.
The first section this morning did not get transmitted onto
YouTube.
YouTube. So,
Yes.
Kevin?
I'll explain,
We're going to have to repeat it.
The first part of this morning did not get on YouTube. It was live on our end, but on the YouTube side, it did not get pushed out. So the slide presentation would be available for anyone that wants a copy. They can contact me and I can get that to them. But in summary respect, we covered, main thing what we covered this morning was current salaries, pay study, the possibility for that, and then retention. And then police officer retention that Nathan Kirk presented. And then we went through board appointments and those applicants that have submitted for service on our boards. And then we went through some a summary of action items, and that is up on the screen now. For us to take that on and start looking at prioritization for the coming year. And I have provided you a copy of those summaries. We can run through that here and then look at priorities and then just general discussion, anything that you want to bring up that had not been covered earlier today. But I want to say that if you were watching on YouTube and looking for this morning's information, we do have the slideshow presentations available. You can contact me, reach out to the town, and we can make that available. Okay?
Okay.
So we recap right before lunch the 24 action items, 2024 action items. Hopefully I made a few corrections from what we're discussing. But out of these items, there are some things that we are going to be more focused on. We'd like to hear from you what we can put more of our attention on. Doesn't mean the other items are not going to be addressed, but the top 5, top 10 things that we want to focus and through the budget, be thinking in those terms as well, what we need to fund to be able to see those things happen. Would you like me to go back through the action items that I have? Glad to.
I think, Kevin, let council look at review each page and determine which ones show priority, which ones are in need, and which ones, we have a lot that we're gonna be waiting on reports from, McGill. And I'll just let the council prioritize on what they feel is something that needs to be addressed for the budget. And of course, this year. Okay, y'all good with that?
Yes.
David?
Yes, sir.
Doug? Melissa? Pete? Yep. Okay. All right, first one, Highway 321 landscaping contract. That's up for renewal, so they'll come to council. So you'll be able to address that accordingly with whatever cost increases there may be. The DOT repair of areas on Highway 321, I guess, council, I'm correct, Corey's gonna be taking care of that. There you go, Corey. The radar signs, Nathan's addressed that.
Back on the landscaping
Yes, ma'am.
renewal, the first question would be to find out if there is a 2-year renewal on that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You understand that, Corey, there's a 2-year renewal? Have you?
Yeah, that's my understanding. I need to read through, make sure that that's in contract.
Okay.
Those renewals, if they're, it need to be mutual, that we both agree, hey, we're good with this price going forward. If it, especially if it's gonna remain the same, I don't think that it's gonna be. But, if we're in agreement, we can move forward with that contract. or the other option is to rebid it.
All right, so we'll wait to hear from Kevin and Corey on that contract. And then the speeding and the radar and the, Chief Kirk is gonna be getting back with council at a later date on what his research has come up with on different areas of the town. Am I correct, guys? That pretty much sum it up? Okay. And also David had mentioned determining the criteria which defines a speeding issue. Parks and Rec, Christmas lighting, are y'all in favor of Jennifer considering that on her new budget 24, 25 for the increased wreath sizes?
I've never looked at them and thought they were too small. I'll just say that. No, just throw my opinion, that's my opinion. But what do you guys think?
I agree with you.
I don't see that much difference with 6 inches.
Okay. 3 inches, 3 inches.
Okay.
I don't know, for the money.
I think that would be an internal discussion in Parks and Rec.
Yeah. So we're gonna pass that off to Jennifer. Internal discussion. Okay? And then you make your recommendations to council, I guess when you're doing your budget presentation. Okay?
Sure.
Thank you.
Not Aldridge, okay.
Y'all okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here's a good one. Parks and Rec needs Devant Field, Annie Cannon, restrooms. We didn't defer to McGill on that one, did we?
No,
What do you think, Kevin? How do you think we ought to?
we need to do it. So I'll ask Jennifer, which one would be priority? Devant or Annie Cannon? If you had to choose.
I would probably say renovate or tear down and rebuild the van.
$900,000.
Well, you also have to remember, the restrooms up here was a new addition of restrooms and renovation.
True.
So your cost shouldn't be that if you just renovate or tear down and rebuild, I would think.
Would you all like for Jennifer to do some research, get some cost numbers put together, come back with the council at a later date? David, what do you think?
I think Annie Cannon, we're going to be talking about that. Village Foundations
That's right.
is, looking at that, what they can do. So I think save that conversation
Okay.
as that moves along. Devant Field, in my opinion, that's a pushover and we need to do something new there. That's like asking what a car costs, Say, what do you want and what do we need there? We could certainly look at getting some pricing information, but in looking at this list, I would say it's like probably in terms of priority for me, 5 to 10. There's probably a handful of other things that I think are more important.
Well, would you like for Jennifer to research that and come back at a later date?
I don't think that costs very much.
Doesn't lock us in.
No.
You got that, Jennifer?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Wi-Fi expansion needs, that's,
No, go to the next page. That carries over.
okay. It's up to Thomas to see if he can get it wired, I guess. Is that right? Thomas, Kevin?
Isn't that just equipment he said
Yeah,
to
it's
come
just
in?
equipment. It's in process. It's just the electrical portion has not been done.
Yes, Pete?
When Thomas was talking about cybersecurity, Thomas, would you come up and kind of just give us a few minutes on, you seem to express some real serious concerns about that, and that probably needed to have some attention. Can you amplify on that, please?
Little. Don't want to go too much into what those concerns are in terms of what we may be lacking. But we are going to start employee training this coming year as part of our cybersecurity insurance for the town requirement, to help close up some holes that may open. And then we have a plan in place to continue to strengthen some of our firewall antivirus that we have running. It's an ever evolving thing, and throw out the popular word right now, AI. There is some AI based attacks that are starting to come down, and that's going to significantly increase the need for cybersecurity. So we're doing okay, but we can always do better. And so we've got some plans in place to make some improvements this year for sure. Do you have any specific questions on that, or?
Let me add on just a little bit on what Thomas too is saying, because some of it has to deal with where I sit, is that the warnings are coming out now strongly that the smaller towns are the more at risk now, because the larger towns have a lot more invested in a lot better cyber systems security. So now they're looking at hitting the smaller towns because they have less protection, you know, and it's.
Yeah, cybersecurity is not inexpensive. And so a lot of small towns have essentially nothing. We're actually pretty fortunate to have a pretty solid base right now, and then we're just going to build upon that.
So what is it that you need, or money-wise, or to?
So we just submitted for a grant this week through the state that is specifically a local government cybersecurity grant. We'll see what comes from that. If nothing comes from that, then we might have to look at a few things budget-wise this year. If we get that, we'll be good for a little while. But my current IT budget is flexible enough year to year based on our needs that I should be able to fit what we need this year into what I have. So I'm not looking for anything major budget-wise.
But to Doug's point, and what you've outlined, it's not something that we should just let linger.
Right. It's only going to grow. I mean, we've got a base. We're going to go from here, but it's going to be continuous forever. It's not going to go down. That's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. The town website upgrade. What are our thoughts on that? We all agree it needs to be done.
I think it's a top 5 for me.
No, I was gonna say,
Okay.
I think this ranks pretty high.
Put it,
I'm just listing a few things as we go down through them. Some don't need to be listed. They're things we're doing.
right.
If it becomes a priority, put them here, and then becomes heightened priority.
Let's put the website under item priorities.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that okay with you?
He's got great budget money.
Okay.
We're probably going to come.
How do you want to go forward on the historic properties designation and
I think I would kind of table that until we have these presentations.
Do you want us maybe go ahead and have it set up to have the presentation.
Yeah, I think, if that is, State Historic Preservation Office come in and talk to us about,
Didn't Brian address that?
yeah.
Yeah. Brian here?
Yes.
You want to defer to Brian, David?
I think Brian is going, if I understand it, Brian's going to set,
I'll contact them, yes.
or someone that can speak to this, options for us to implement. I think just to educate ourselves.
And the idea was to bring that to a joint session of council and the subcommittee, which
Right.
there are some overlaps.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sound right?
All right.
I don't know we're gonna do that. Do you want it here?
No.
Okay. Downtown land use code amendments.
Is part of that going to be covered in the comp plan?
It is.
Yeah, part of it is.
But then we gotta be more specific and deal with the code. And so that's why the downtown subcommittee is organized to pick that up again.
I would say that's in progress and doesn't need to go up there.
Oh, really?
But have they actually been working?
No,
That's what, I think that's the issue.
it was
We kind of.
tabled a little bit because let's get the comp plan out and then sets the umbrella for everything else that comes underneath that. And this would be that.
I think we need to get that committee meeting again and get that ball rolling again.
And I think that, it'd also be good for them to hear the person that Brian brings in.
Twofold.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kevin, if you would, just flip your page. Mine. Okay. All right, provide options for expansion of section 8 cemetery. Thoughts?
See what the funeral homes say.
Yeah, the report from some of the funeral homes and mausoleums and stuff like that.
I think with only 31 spots left, that's got to be put in the, kind of in the top priorities.
Priority.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
let's
kind of
put
running
that.
out of space.
I'm getting
That
closer.
2024 priorities.
Pete and I are getting closer.
Okay, we're down to 29.
I'll make sure I save you a good spot.
That was after Pete and Doug. So, Matt, what do you recommend going forward?
I think maybe start pricing on those and see kind of where we're coming in on getting them built. And maybe look at if there's potential there for partnership or if we want to undertake it on our own.
So council, how about let Matt research this and come back to you guys?
Yeah.
Is that good? God, I love delegating. That's Memorial Park Phase 2. I think pretty much everybody's in agreement to go the whole project. Or look at the whole project, am I correct?
I'm in agreement to get financing options for,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what it's gonna cost, what kind of dollars.
I think this is probably the highest priority after parking for me.
Yeah.
Because there's a timeline.
I was gonna say, I would probably put this above the parking because there's a time deadline on this
Yeah.
one.
I think they'll both go pretty much hand in hand. Timelines are gonna be similar, from what y'all stated yesterday. RFPs for tank maintenance. That was gonna be done by McGill and brought back to council.
Yeah, February.
And that's something, to me, any of that, we have to have.
It's operational.
I mean, we're gonna have to do. It's not, nothing that we can keep putting off.
Yeah, it's not an option.
I mean,
Put that,
it is a priority,
yes,
and it's not, doesn't matter where it's ranked, it's something we have to do,
correct.
but,
Sidewalk, do we say MATAR or MATTER plan?
I didn't agree.
Other words, for those listening in, sidewalk master plan. Thoughts, council?
Personally, I would like to see it up, at least in the top 10 because of, the walkability that we're trying to make the town and we're trying to expand. We're not sure yet how we're gonna do with parking and stuff, but whatever you do, you need to at least have a safe place to walk. So I would like to see the master plan in the top 10.
Do we put that on McGill's lap?
Yes,
Okay.
as was mentioned, when we did that, determine what the costs are first, before we enter into an agreement.
And I think what we need to do is further determine how do we section it off from McGill. We don't want a lump sum. So which places show priority, council? Which locations?
Well, I think we talked about,
Ransom Street.
Ransom Street, Wallingford from, the parking lots over,
I would think that with a master plan,
they'll
you
be able.
prioritize inside of that.
Okay.
We know what we're talking about, but you let the master plan be developed and then you identify.
Yeah, what needs to be repaired might outweigh what
That's true,
Needs to be
David.
built.
needs to be built.
And that's something, since David mentioned that, you can go ahead and put that under priorities. Repair and maintenance of existing sidewalks.
I think that's going to be in the master.
Master plan.
Yeah.
Was that gonna be in the master plan?
Well, it's a comprehensive,
Yeah.
It's future, existing, repair of the existing,
Okay. Okay,
code amendments, in lieu of funding source that if, hey, that makes sense to put sidewalks here, we'll contribute back to that fund, you can use those funds. Those monies for sidewalk maintenance.
okay. All right, sewer system, excuse me. Continue with USDA water sewer plant up. Well, correct me if I'm mistaken, council, McGill was gonna come back to us because USDA has to come in and make a presentation to us. And then we sign off on it from there. Is that not correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that's ongoing.
It is, the other option, the other consideration is to explore other funding sources if they're out there from the state that we don't have to, may not have to utilize that in USDA. Or could use USDA funds for another expansion or replacements of water lines.
Well, that's what we'll be using for the Mayview pump station.
Well, there's also that new firm, Ray Pickett and Associates, finance and. Okay, so that's kind of would be an ongoing, wouldn't it?
It is.
What do you think?
It is. It's
it's in progress.
Because, that pump station is a priority.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Okay, sewer system expansion. Matt and Gil, we're going to develop prioritized plans, so
This
that's,
is those areas that are underserved or
Yeah.
unserved.
yeah, so that'll be coming to us in the future.
I think it's like, for me, it's like the sidewalk plan. I'd like to see it,
But it's not
but it's not critical, right?
I don't have to have it in the next 2 months.
Right, it's not in the top 5, definitely.
Okay. Mayview Lake Spillway. McGill's gonna provide guidance and pricing.
Yeah, that's a priority.
Yeah, that's a priority.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And that's another one too that I think can also go along with John's presentation of what he's wanting to offer is that we might can include that into some of the things he's wanting to do today.
Which one?
The Village Foundation presentation, the spillway.
Well, honestly, I think it's gonna be something that's gonna be taken care of a lot sooner than that. I looked at it, yesterday evening, rode by there and walked down. It's,
Yeah, I think that's something we're gonna be paying for.
Well, probably.
put that down as a priority.
That's priority.
Thank you, Kev. Stormwater utility, McGill and staff get back with you guys on proposal, timing.
And to me, that is a priority.
Yeah, I think so too. Because
We're getting so much damage anymore.
Okay, we'll skip over paid parking.
No, Charlie.
Paid parking. All right, the council essentially said that they would like to see a plan implemented, ready to go November 1st, with everything going active April 1st, 2025. So where do you want to go with it from there, council? I mean,
We basically given, I guess,
Nathan.
Nathan and the police department, sort of the direction to go, right?
Right, and there'll be some different votes that you'll have to make on this,
Right.
of course, but it need to be put in the budget. So put that down under priorities,
Yes.
okay?
We need to know what to budget for that.
Right.
Right. Nathan, did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, future parking facilities. What are your thoughts, guys and gals?
If we're looking at instituting paid parking, I think this has got to go along with that because that's the goal of the paid parking.
Right.
So I think they have to be hand in hand.
Okay.
True.
Well, Kat Perry did some lobbying the other day.
Last night.
Last night.
Don't waste around.
If there's an opportunity, seize it.
Now, council members, you've learned a valuable lesson with this. You want money, take Kat Perry with you, okay? Ron, if you're listening in, you missed it.
Oh, he already knows.
Okay, so future parking, should that be under priorities?
Oh, it is.
It is. Okay. All right, town space needs, well, I think.
Nobody liked my idea.
Don't take it personally, though.
I don't.
I think that you're gonna work up, John and Brian, work up some ideas.
Well, our assessment can be handled internally, can it? This assessment of present and future needs.
Yes.
Let's start there.
Okay.
What do y'all-
That would be more under, yeah, I think so, don't you? The other side.
I've got a question, going back to parking expansion. I don't know, I know McGill does a lot of different things. Are they our go-to best resource for looking at possible facilities and spaces?
I see what you're
And whether we need lots or decks? What do you guys think?
Well, the problem's not going to go away.
But I'm wondering, is McGill the best? I mean, we're relying on McGill for a lot, and maybe they are good at doing this assessment for us, but, and developing scenarios, but I'm also thinking about other companies that just specialize in this.
Okay.
Honestly, you think about it, we know what we have available.
I know, yeah.
And we've used McGill in the past to say, yes, this is what it's gonna cost for this garage. This is what it's gonna do to flat surface this one lot, and this is how many spaces you can get, which they have done that for us.
Okay.
I can't answer that.
I don't know.
Let
I
me,
mean, I hate spending money for another consulting firm to tell us what we already know.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Yeah.
Totally.
we could start there and then McGill suggests, hey, maybe somebody could give us some support. We can do it that way. Somebody that's more specialized in parking.
Right. And I don't know, what we're gonna need, but like McLaurin, they were very active in the Asheville market to purchase land and work out things with private industries and private companies that owned the land and were able to acquire it. So I'm just gonna throw that
Okay.
out there.
I feel like what we're doing is kind of a, how many cars could we potentially fit on this spot type thing?
Yeah,
And McGill can do that?
And, what does that cost?
true.
Because it might, spots down here maybe, because you have to have a ramp or something, might be 30,000 a spot, where somewhere else they're 20,000 a spot.
And I'm not pushing McLaurin, but I just know that company, and they do that as well.
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
I know they're big on managing the
And
facility.
they develop them too.
Okay.
Develop it.
Okay,
That could be something Kevin could look into.
Okay.
street right of way management, yeah, I think we need to do something on that.
We just need to enforce our code.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's all I've got.
What do you need from us to carry through?
Unwavering support.
Got that? For me.
I mean, we have the ordinances in place,
It's a matter of how you do it.
yeah.
We're not gonna, that's not the way we ever operate.
Yeah,
I'll bring back some specifics on how we'll do it, what the code says and,
okay.
and timeframe and what, we know what the dangers are. What matters is that last leg and making that contact with the property owner and seeing it through.
Okay.
I mean, the town has the authority.
Mhm.
We wanna handle it right.
Okay.
Is police officer wage up there?
I did not include today's
Yeah.
information.
The good point. I think overall, employee reimbursement and compensation needs to be considered. And with the budget coming up, that would be, I think that'd be in my top 5.
You're saying do a classification and pay study?
I don't think I would do.
Do I?
I don't know about, I think that money would be better used in part of the raises that we
I
decided.
do too.
You have the classifications.
Yeah.
You just need the pay study.
Yeah.
We don't even need a pay study. We know what the market's bearing right now.
The latest information from the league is 22, 23. And it's got, municipalities 2,500 and less, 25 to 10,000 or 5, and it's broken down that way. Now, the town of Owen Rock does not compare with Oakboro or some of these other towns out in the middle of nowhere. We do not compare that way. We are more of a resort type community. And the one slide that shows how we compare with those. And then we're we're competing locally with Boone and the county, Lenore, Caldwell County, those. Because we're pulling from this area. And if we're not, then someone's gonna have to move to this area. And at that point, then we're competing again with those other entities, so. Go ahead.
Sorry, with your pay scale and everything, that's been kept, I lost my wording, sorry. Your scale's been kept in line every year, moving
The
along.
scale moves with,
Everything's been moving since it was done the last time.
so if there's a 5%.
The whole scale's been moved
scale
along.
moves with the budget.
Okay.
That's right.
Thoughts,
Okay.
council?
Well, what's the next thing we need to do? What's the next step?
I think,
Go through budget hearings.
I think
We hear some stouter amounts then.
since you mentioned that, that's a good point. Kevin, you need to get with department heads, get their recommendations for themselves and their employees. And then let's come up with a comparison with the marketplaces that have been mentioned, Boone, Tauga County, Lenore, Wilkesboro. Just like what's similar to, that's been done with, the police. What do you think, council? And then budgeting wise, then the department heads can come to the town manager and say, okay, this is what I'd like to see in my budget for the upcoming year. This is what I'm increasing. And then it's up to the council to approve or disapprove.
Well, I'm getting the impression that what we talked about with police, and this may be true for other, what a market pay is what we should be looking at. But more the rest of the town staff, especially department heads, may not be so much our market, but more regional or statewide.
Not from the numbers we had up earlier.
Well, that was police department.
Well, we had other.
Oh, well, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. That's your call. I mean,
Well, we were looking at Ocean Isle and some other places, which would not be in our market. So I'm trying to define what we're,
wasn't Boone on there? Yeah, Boone.
Boone and the county were also included on that.
That's right.
There was a comparison of what you call peer municipalities that are
That's right.
tourism resort type. And there was also a comparison locally, the county and Boone.
It's also on the league's information there.
That's true.
Also.
I mean, I'm not one to say that, go to Matt and say, Matt, we're gonna do this, this, and this. I feel like Matt should come to us and say, well, this is where I think maybe we should be.
Technically, Matt should go to the town manager.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but ultimately, you all have a decision. okay?
But if they have a pay scale and everything's set, then it should be all inclusive. It should not be done department by department. I can see like if the police station was separate or the fire department a little bit, but the town employees, if you have your grades and your scales and stuff, it should be all inclusive.
Well, each department heads are making different monies.
I know the department heads are, but they should be you should have grades within your payroll. And everybody, any employee should be in those grades. And when you start doing,
Well, no,
your stuff.
I'm not saying that as much. How are the employees ranked? Is it by seniority? Is it by seniority and by job description? Is that how they're,
Each department has a classification.
yeah,
okay,
And who is
And then they should have, across that classification, should have levels of,
And they do,
yeah,
And we have that.
yeah,
yeah.
they're in there.
We already have that.
But comparing those as a whole to other similar jurisdictions is where you say, okay.
That's what I'm
we're
saying.
Out of balance.
We're out of balance. And we've been very fortunate to retain the excellent staff we have, and I just want to make sure moving forward, we continue that process. That's what I'm saying, okay?
So let's talk about, it looks like we've got through the list. Let's talk about these in terms of going into budget season. And what information we need before we start that budget process. Is it, some of these things we all may or may not already account for, like tank maintenance. I don't know if we have a line item in there for that or not. But
You have a line item for tank maintenance now.
No, I don't believe so. I think it falls into like kind of general maintenance, maintenance repair.
We had a contract years ago. And then when did that contract end? I think Doug was sharing with us.
I thought he said it was 10 years. Yeah, I thought it was like 10.
But that wasn't removed from your budget. That was rolled over, was it not? Wasn't that, didn't that go under general maintenance at that point?
I believe so. I have to go back and look, but it should have been under the maintenance line.
That's what I thought,
Not
yeah.
a specific tank maintenance line there.
Yeah, so it's still there. It's just hidden.
Could be.
I'm sorry, I don't even know what that number is. I haven't seen proposals yet.
Right.
I'm just saying, some of this stuff are we gonna be able to get done before we go into budget season, so we know how much to budget?
We need, so
Make note of which ones we need to budget
we need
for
budget
us.
for that.
Down at the bottom,
Yeah.
employee benefit, maybe?
Royal Park, cemetery, yes?
It depends
Yeah, I
on,
think
It depends.
just about all, everything up there, you're gonna have to get a price for.
yeah. And the cemetery's gonna do,
It all costs money.
money.
Right.
All of it. But some things are not gonna be necessarily this year. It's a little bit of money to determine, is this something we're gonna do this year? It might be we spend a little bit of money to find out we're gonna do it the next 2 years or next 3. This is,
Well, like parking expansion, that would be
that's
2 years.
two
Down the road.
I don't think we need to worry
Down
about
the
that for budgeting right now.
down the road.
Oh,
Yes, there's gonna be some long-term with this, but this is something this year. That's gonna be our biggest number.
I think proposals for
Right.
master planning
The employee thing's gonna be the.
should be easy enough to get between now and budget season.
Yeah. So you're talking about what can we, information we can gather for this coming year.
Yeah,
We can gather.
24, 25 budget.
We'll have that next month, or this month. February. We can get that. I don't,
Employee pay and benefits, put that.
we can do that. This is, that's all, that does not,
Cost.
it costs, but it's not gonna cost more. We'll make it work within the budget constraints we have.
Mayview,
maybe like.
Lake Spillway,
Yes, we can do that.
stormwater utility, but that's
will
kind
take
of,
some time.
that's kind of flow through anyway.
It's brain power right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's gonna generate some money.
Yeah.
Everything else costs money, but maybe they'll. Town website, you were talking about, if we were to get, study who we are, with who we're with now, it's gonna cost us more, but there is still a cost involved in developing a new website.
Yeah, we should be able to fit, if we did something, our hosting and the creation of a new one within the budget we already have.
Oh,
Maybe I spoke too soon. We can come up with numbers of what we need to do.
I think that's all doable.
Long-term,
Doug's got his calculator out.
really long-term.
what's wrong, Doug?
Charlie said he thought everything up there was doable.
I don't think he,
Three underlines are
I
more
didn't
of a
say you're in my
long-term.
range.
I don't think he said affordable, I said he.
Doable. Thank you, Dave.
If you see value in ranking these, great. If not, we just keep it what it is.
I think.
Well, does ranking help us? What does that do for us?
Not really.
I'm not being, trying to be funny, I'm just,
I think it helps guide staff on their
Okay.
well, I think,
priority focus. I mean,
Is this gonna be like when we vote for board appointees, like straw votes, or can y'all handle this?
I think we can handle it.
Establish a 1, 2,
Can y'all handle this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can you say it?
we got 10 ironically.
Yeah.
That was
New math.
That was a plan.
He's a man.
You believe that too?
I would put, overall employee pay benefits as number one, just a thought. Parking, number two. Memorial Park, 3, or it could be double one. I don't know.
I'm Dobbs, I put paid parking number 1.
Okay.
And the parking expansion, all that, the two that's lumped together right there.
That's my number one.
That would be my number 1.
Anything that says parking,
Parking.
Okay.
Well,
Everything referencing parking is number one.
so a lot of it is getting information that's more specific that we can wrap our arms around. And parking expansion, I think it's good to start understanding what we're looking at in terms of expenses there.
Okay. All right, what's number 2? Parking and parking expansion,
Right.
put those both as one. Got it. All right, what do you want? What's number 2?
I think for me, Memorial Park and the spillway are tied for number 2. They could be 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
No ties.
Okay, so spillway number 3. Okay. What do you want us for?
4 days,
Thank you.
pay benefits.
5.
Town website needs to be in there.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay. There you go, Thomas.
Cheap fix.
And I think the tank maintenance, as, like I said, hadn't been done, so that's got to be done.
6?
Yep.
That's your drinking water.
I would do
Next is
stormwater
bath
at 7.
Yeah,
Because
for bath water.
That's going to give revenue.
7?
Cemetery.
I don't really, for me, rank street right-of-way maintenance as something something we already have. It's just something that we need to enforce.
Okay. But a priority. Yeah.
Right, it's a priority,
Something to do.
but it's something that we already have. We just need to get it enforced.
How about cemetery is 8?
Depends on how quick I die.
yeah, I think that's
You
it.
got to be
How
proactive.
about sidewalk
here,
master
okay?
plan? So those are the 2 that are left, right? Cemetery and sidewalk master plan.
I would
Like-
say the cemetery and then sidewalk.
Yes, yeah.
Cemetery, we're running out of space. Yeah.
More concerned for some than others.
There you go.
But then we, 2 sevens.
Doug, we just throw you off the rock.
What?
You got 2 sevens.
What? Hold up. Which one did you say? You said, this
Cemetery is 8,
And sidewalks 9.
9. Stormwater was 7. You had that right.
Yeah, stormwater was 7.
7. Cemetery's 8,
Yeah,
and then that's 9.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The top 9 list.
okay. This is not necessarily affordable, but it's doable. How's that sound?
It's all doable.
There's nothing on here that money can't fix.
That's right.
But you gotta find the money.
Only money.
Show me the money.
Oh, boy.
It's just time and money.
Saw that done last year.
You send that out to us later on, Kevin.
Maybe. Yes,
If you don't, I will.
Okay. Any other?
our plan is
Top 10.
Yeah, just take a picture and send
at
it.
the council meeting,
Okay.
summarize.
Well, you're just gonna present the 2024 priorities at the council meeting, correct?
Yes.
I mean, this is already documented, all this.
No, this.
Any additional discussion? Council,
Anything not covered?
anything that, yeah?
The only thing I was wanting to bring up is, we have a town and state, meeting. And Melissa and I are going to state, Ray will be down there along with a lot of our other state representatives. And this year, instead of having to go to Raleigh, it's gonna be in Hickory. And did you get the date on that? I got it, but I have to put it up.
Is this the league, Doug?
Yes.
April.
Melissa and I are going, we were wanting to know how many, who else is wanting to go. We'll go down, we'll have Hillary registers go down. It's in Hickory and, meet with some of the representatives, have dinner and come back that night. So,
April 3rd at
3rd.
5:15.
Third,
When?
what?
Wednesday, April 3rd.
I thought you said February 3rd.
No.
Yeah.
And then, next after that, the 23rd to the 25th is the league conference in Winston. And if you've never been, that's one of the best things you can attend
It is.
for the small mini classes that they offer. Need to get, we can get it cheaper if we do an early bird. Hillary can get us registered and our rooms for down there. So think that one over and let Hillary know.
Dates again, Doug?
23rd through the 25th,
April.
April.
I said,
It's all about April.
I was thinking February.
Well, when's Easter this year?
It's early. It's
31st.
Okay.
23, 24, 25?
I'll pass on.
That's a good one to go to.
Which one?
The Winston-Salem
Yeah, the
one.
Winston's a good one to go to.
We're up here.
They're gonna have probably, I think from one of the things I was reading, probably 30 different tours of their town and the things that they have done down there.
Winston.
Winston.
Good place to eat down there.
Dash. The dash.
Thank you.
Hey, any other thoughts?
I just wanted to say something about the sewer expansion. It may not be a priority to do anything, but like David and I were talking offline about coming up with a plan that maybe is 10, 15 years, to hopefully avoid a situation where all of a sudden there's a bunch of people and their septic won't work and it's an emergency and we have to look at it then. I was just gonna throw that out there for you to think.
I think that's a good idea. I think that's something that could be put on McGill's plate because they know the severity of each location and the urgency of each location.
It's also something that we hope to plan to put in our reserve, our water and sewer reserve.
Yeah.
Just like with their, a couple of things that we haven't really enacted lately, you know, was the paving reserve, the water and sewer reserve. We started looking there and we didn't have anything really left. Used to be what was budgeted item, and so much went in the reserve. And to me, I think that's something that ought to be brought back again, because it's better to have a little there, trying to come up with everything at
We
one
do have a
time.
reserve building now.
Yeah, and that was one of the things, reasons I'm raising the water and sewer rate,
Right.
is to help put into that reserve. That's the reason I talk about the fund balance. It's like, if you only have 33%, that equals how much really you have to cover of the year, should something go wrong. 33% would equal about a third of the year. And we've tried to cover, around 50. At least you had 6 months worth if something went wrong.
I'd like to thank Kevin, Hillary, Thomas, and all the department heads that have been here for 3 days. Thank you so much. You guys did an awesome job, and thanks for all your support.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank y'all.
Are we good? David? Doug? Pat? Melissa? Pete? Kevin?
Thank you. I hope it's beneficial. I think it was.
Cover it up.
Got our marching orders.
Very efficient.
He's gonna declare in just a second.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending.
I'll never be allowed to sit next to the mayor.
Department,